This is the Lifted Spirits podcast, where we raise a glass, share encouraging thoughts and stories, and discuss how to find meaning through family, friendship, art, business, and everything in between. You are listening to or watching me attempt to do some dance moves with Caity Malloy, who is a dancer and instructor, and has a lot to say about her art form of movement.
That's okay.
We're going to get started.
Okay.
This is Caity. And before you tell a little bit about who you are and what you do, because people always ask things like, what do you do? What do you like? I like asking the question, what are you like?
Okay.
So if you had to describe yourself, how would you describe yourself?
Okay. Go
for it.
All right. I would say that I'm just kind of weird, but mostly I'm okay with that. I don't know. I've never been one to try to fit in, I guess. Just whatever makes me happy, I do. Surround myself with people who feel that same way and just live my life, you know?
Yeah. And now you can get into more of the basics of like, who are you? What's your story?
Who am I? So I am Caity. I am a dancer, but I'm also an architect. And the story of those kind of go hand in hand, I would say. I started dancing my freshman year of architecture school. When I joined the program, I knew that it's notorious for kind of bad mental health, I would say. It kind of prides itself on students working themselves to the brink of insanity. So I was like, okay, I need to find one thing that will bring me outside of that. So the first week of college, I went to the club sports fair at the university and I found the ballroom club. I've always loved Disney movies and princesses, and it's like, oh, maybe dancing would be fun.
Yeah.
So I joined the team, started taking their classes just 1 hour a week. And, prying yourself away from school for 1 hour a week was still a big feat, but I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I continued to dance through college and afterwards, in addition to like pursuing my career, I really pursued my career as a dancer.
Yeah. And what's one of the most exciting places you feel like dancing has taken you so far?
I would say the great thing about dancing is it is everywhere, all over the world. So when I have even gone on just like, a regular vacation, not dance specific, I've always like snipped out the dance scene there. So when I was in Europe for a vacation, I think it was 2 summers ago, danced along the bank of the Tiber in Rome, along the bank of the Seine in France. Like it's just, it pops up. So
yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, and I'm sure in college it was very like cathartic to have that getaway, because I really thought of joining the architecture school as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard several friends say you can be in architecture or you can have friends. And I was like, I do want to do architecture, but I also want to have friends.
Right.
Yeah, which it ultimately didn't matter since I dropped out, but whatever. And so what would you say... like, what is it about dancing that, like, drew you in?
I think I've also never been, like, super athletically inclined. I did gymnastics for a couple of years when I was little, and then my mom forced me to do tennis when I was in high school, which I actually loved and became pretty good at it, but I was a total wallflower. Like, I never was into sports, and, like, I would go to the gym, but I don't know, this dance is kind of both and situation because it keeps you active while also being fun. Like it doesn't feel like you're working out, but you are. And you actually can gain quite a lot of strength from it and do it at any age. So it's a skill that you can keep forever.
Oh yeah. You can get real sweaty.
Yes.
Work it out. Sure. And what's one of the most fun times you've ever had dancing?
I would say I kind of pinpoint to, I think the first year we had a dance festival in Arkansas. That was 2 summers ago as well. It was really cool because there was another local studio here in town that hosted a festival. They brought in artists from all over the world, like internationally known, the people that you see on Instagram and you're just like, wow, they brought those people here. And so seeing our little community in Arkansas dance with those people, I got to dance with them. I was like on a high that whole weekend, getting to take classes and learn from these professionals and, just feeling, oh yeah, we're both dancers. We're the same. It was really special.
Yeah, and when did you start teaching? Like just going from like enjoying dancing to like
So when I graduated college, which was 2017, I first started teaching the ballroom club. So the same club that I had joined in college, I stayed on as an instructor there. And I did that for a few years before I switched to more social dancing. And again, like regained my status as a student, learning that when COVID happened, obviously everything shut down. Yeah. So all of the regular events and venues were no more. So that really left a gap. So my partner and I, we were like, well, we miss dancing. We want to bring it back. But you can't just, have an event and expect people will show up, because it can be intimidating if you've never done it before, right? You're like, oh, well, I need to know what to do. I don't know what steps. So that's when we started teaching, was kind of a feeder system, I would say. Like you show people the basics, you build their confidence up, and then you show them, hey, there's these opportunities where you can use the skill that you learned, and it's fun and it's exciting. It's not just work. So we kind of started the socials and teaching. Socials were the fall of 2021, and teaching was just a few months later, like the spring of 2022. So been teaching bachata about 2 years now.
And what are some of your ultimate dreams and aspirations for like where you want to go with dance?
Honestly, I think the trajectory we're on, we're happy with. Because again, Christian and I, we're NWA Bachata Beats. It's just the two of us, but we both have full-time jobs too. I mean, I am still an architect. He works in finance. So this is our passion turned into second job. So really, I think the capacity we're at is great. We would love if we could do it, more. But we teach, right now we're teaching 3 classes a week. We also do private lessons, and we have events about twice a month, sometimes more. But really the goal is just to keep the people coming and happy. Like every week at our socials, we have people who it's their first time there. They saw the ad somewhere or some friend told them about it. They wanted to come check it out, and just seeing their faces light up and they're like, we want to take classes. We want to come here next week. Like we're creating this atmosphere for people that we say it's like an alternative to nightlife. So it's, it's something fun and healthy and safe to do.
Yeah.
So just continuing to harbor that environment and watch it grow.
Yeah. And what would you say to someone who is thinking of going out and trying dance stuff, but they maybe feel self-conscious or they're not sure or like that?
Definitely come. Something that we're really blessed with here in Northwest Arkansas is we have a lot of very nice people. So we have a lot of good dancers too, but not really anyone that is that snobby stereotype of I'm too good for you, So even if you've never danced before in your life and you come, there will be people who come up to you and ask you to dance. And if you say, I don't know what to do, that's okay. On the dance floor, we'll show you what to do. So it really is welcoming, and you'll meet so many wonderful people. Like I've met some of my best friends dancing.
Yeah. And why don't you share some about the community that you've been a part of and that you've built?
Yeah.
Dance.
Yeah. So like I said, most of the dancers here are really just happy, nice people. And again, they have their lives, and dancing is just a supplement to it. So they're coming there because they're passionate about it, because they want to be there, and it's something that, fuels their soul. So, I have a really great core group of friends that, without dancing, we probably would have never met. And our backgrounds are also different. We're all in different fields of work. We have different families and upbringings and all of that. But this is the one thing that really brings us together. And, my happiest moments are when all my friends are there on the dance floor. I get to see all of them dancing and ask them to dance. And when we're tired, we sit down and we just talk to each other. And so, it's something that you can meet people you would have never met. Your paths would have never crossed in life, but here you are now.
Yeah, and why do you think it is that dance is just such a human universal?
Because music's human universal. When it comes on, if you're that type of person, your foot starts, tapping, bob your head a little bit. And, there's the people you look over at the intersection in their car and they're just like that. So if you can channel that into, something that kind of has this baseline, then everybody can pick it up and they can interpret it their own way. It's not so strict that you can't add your own flavor. It's not boring. There aren't these, there are rules, but not in the sense that, like with tennis, for example, either the ball is in or it's out. There's that line that divides it. But dance, anyone can interpret it how they want to. They can stay at their base level. They can continue to grow and get better. They can learn new moves. And it's just something that you can make it what you want.
Yeah, I definitely saw a girl like maybe a couple weeks ago passing in an intersection who was just rocking it. And I thought, man, I wish I had time to pull out my phone and get a video.
Probably me.
Yeah, very well could have been you, just in a quick flash. So I thought, man, I'd watch that just when I'm, need like a pick-me-up or something. Like, there's a girl living her best life. And at a very busy intersection. So she did not care.
No shame.
And that's my kind of person.
There's one thing about dance, it will definitely boost your confidence because, like I said, the more you have to put yourself out there in a social setting if you're dancing with new people. Like, you got to get over that hump of like, hi, I'm Caity. Nice to meet you. I'm new here. I don't know what I'm doing. But, the more you do it, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun and it's fine.
And what would you say to someone who's like in the foot tapping, head nodding zone where, because I feel like I've gone to some of your dance classes and we've done other dance stuff together, but I'm still very beginner and I feel like my body feels the dance so deeply, but then it doesn't translate to my body. And, like I can't get it out. And so what would you say to someone who like, sometimes that's just the best I got, but I want to get to the next level?
We say if you can count until 8, you can dance because bachata, as well as many other styles of dance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So as soon as you can pick up that cadence, you can figure it out. So even if you're tapping your foot, tap your foot to that beat. And that's a good place to start.
Can you think of any success stories of friends who maybe started somewhere and then now they're wherever else?
Yeah, so I would say, like I said, we've been teaching 2 years and our students, we definitely have those, they come in, they even tell us, warning, like I have 2 left feet. I don't know what I'm doing. I signed up because I just wanted to meet new friends or try something different or whatever the reason is. And 2 years later, they're still taking classes with us. They come to our socials on a regular basis. And you can just see not only the improvement in their dancing, but the improvement in their attitude. Like they just stand up straighter and they smile more and they just have this glow about them. And you think back, like looking at the videos of their very first classes. And we do that too. We film our class so we can show them, this is what you guys look like on week 1. This is what you look like on week 6. Like, and they can see that improvement.
Yeah, that's powerful to be able to visualize it. Be like, oh, wait, that was me?
Yep.
And you said earlier you're kind of weird.
Oh, absolutely.
Why don't you delve into that some? It doesn't have to even be dance related, but just where did the weirdness begin? Where has it taken you?
Yeah, well, for example, yesterday I had a termite inspection, annual inspection at my house. A guy walks in and first thing he says, looks around my living room, what's with all the Barbie dolls? Like I said, the whole Disney princess aesthetic, that is something ever since I could talk.
Wow.
I was obsessed with all things girly and, so I've collected Barbies my whole life. And so when I got my house, I was like, you know what? That's going to be the centerpiece. All my furniture is like 3/4 scale and weird colors. So it all looks like Barbie Dream House. But it's not something I've ever been ashamed of or embarrassed of. Like, there's a lot of adults that do that, but that's okay. I have fun with it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun too in dance because when we do have these socials or when I competed or done showcases, like you get the excuse to dress up.
Yeah.
Like I had never put makeup on my face until I started dancing and like not even dancing, but like the competing part because, when you have bright lights on your face, your
Yeah.
features just kind of disappear. So you need to learn how to do that stuff. So every weekend, it's the excitement of I get to pick out fun clothes, and they can be any weird colors I want them to be. And my makeup can be even weirder colors. Like,
I may have to get you to send some pictures that I can
for sure.
overlay in the video.
There's always, my friends will just text me, what are you wearing tonight? I can't wait to see what you're wearing because the theme is this. And I know you're going to do something exotic. So,
Oh, yeah. I definitely know that. Anytime I see y'all posting on Bachata Beats, I'm like, oh, that's an outfit. And usually you and your partner, Christian,
Yes.
are like, have a theme.
yes.
match.
So even if there's not an assigned theme to the social, because sometimes it's like, oh, for Valentine's Day, wear red or whatever. But yeah, even if we don't have a theme, it's always, we have to coordinate.
Yeah.
Because again, it's be artistic for photos and stuff. You want to look like you match.
Didn't
So-
you go as She Go from Kim
Oh,
Possible or
so
something?
we had a black and white social, and I was very heavily drawn by Shigo. Like I did a black
Okay.
upper lip and the
Yeah.
white lower lip because
Yeah.
my shirt was cut in half black and
Mhm.
white, and Christian's pants were cut in half black and white. So had a lot of fun with that
Oh,
one.
yeah. Yeah. And with all the Barbie stuff, our kid says all the time, play the Barbie song, because I love I'm Just Ken. It's such a good song.
Yeah.
And we rock to that all the time. No shame.
Well, we'll have to
And-
see if we can find a bachata remix of I'm Just Ken.
That'd be fun. And then what would you say, like, not outside of your dancing too, with your architecture, like these people would think architect, dancer, like
Mhm.
those things seem not to connect. Why is it for you? Like, do they each fill something in you that you need, or like, what's that?
I would say so. I mean, architecture is still creative.
Mhm.
Like, yes, there's a lot of, I would say, combination of left and right brain stuff. Because,
Mhm.
I mean, essentially, I draw for a living. That's what I do. But it's not just the drawing, it's all the paperwork, legal side of it, coordinating with the engineers and the contractors. And so dance is like the fully like liberated side of it. Because like I
Mhm.
said, yes, you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but everything outside of that, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it really allows you to just express yourself. Like I said, from the physical aspect of you're exercising, you're not sitting at a desk, you're standing and moving. But yeah, just getting outside of the zone of,
Mhm.
I've been reviewing these stair dimensions for hours.
Yeah.
So,
And what's one of the most beautiful buildings you feel like you've ever seen?
oh my goodness. Well, studying abroad, and when I was in Rome, we got to travel around many other cities. And the number one thing on my list that I wanted to see was the Erechtheion on the Acropolis in Athens. And if you're not familiar with the building, it has these 6 statues of women that are holding up the roof. So seeing that in person, but the story behind it too is always fascinating. I'm like kind of a history nerd from that side, but when the British came and they basically stole everything from the Acropolis, they had stolen one of these caryatids as well. So 5 of them are still in Athens. They're protected in a museum because of the erosion from the acid rain that's all there. But like the pollution's so bad. But so the ones actually on the Acropolis are replicas. So I got to see all 5 of them preserved in the museum. And then my next stop on spring break was actually to London. First place I went was the British Museum, and I found the 6th one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think, yes, it's the building, but it's also the parts. Like seeing the pieces where they were, that was just the most beautiful thing to me.
There's this book called The Sibylline Oracles that's about like the oracle at Delphi, I forget how you say it, and all the different oracles from like 200 BC or something. And it was one of the most interesting books that I've read because it was just this poetry. Because I'd heard so much about the oracles from just pop culture of history, and thought, man, I want to read these people. Like, who were they? What did they do? And they were so fascinating that I can never quite figure out how, like, I don't know how to put it, like how people viewed women in the past. Because it's like, how did you have so much respect for these women, it seems.
Yeah, but not
But not
others.
for everyone else. Like, how does that square?
Yeah.
Beats me. And what would you say in your day-to-day life, what's the thing that when you wake up is getting you hyped right now and just giving you the most meaning and fulfillment day to day?
That one is a little trickier. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say, honestly, in my life, I do just feel this sense of balance and peace right now. So just knowing that, I've achieved the goals that I had set, and I'm kind of at a good, almost like autopilot. So knowing that, yes, I go to work as an architect during the day, and then at night I'm going to teach class. And then after that, I'm going to, I get to choreograph or, come up with playlists or whatever it may be to continue that journey. So I think it's just the knowing that every day I get to do what I want, whatever that's going to be. I get to do what I want.
Yeah.
So I know that's a rare and lucky thing, and really enjoy it.
Yeah. And this may have already been a question that you just answered, but I like asking people, what does it mean? Like, what would it be for you to have made it in life?
Yeah, I would say that's it, is that you just, whatever you're doing that day, it is something that either makes you happy or moves you forward in life. Because definitely, again, through architecture school, it was incredibly stressful, and you have these goals set for yourself. And it's like, if you don't reach those, it's just like soul crushing, But if you just find that, whatever you do today, that's enough, and that can be what you do, and be happy with that, right? Just understanding that whatever your personal goals are, it doesn't have to compare to anybody else's.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I talked to some friends because we were just in Italy in October, and talked to people there about how they said one thing they both like and didn't like about Americans was how driven they are. Yeah. Like, they're always trying to do something else, get to the next level. And that's cool in a way, of it creates all this interesting stuff. But then it just also makes you not as content to just live your life.
Because I was definitely, and arguably still am, an overachiever, but that was one thing I tried to change. It's going to sound bad. It's like I tried to
become an underachiever.
I tried to almost care less.
Yeah.
Not, care in a disproportionate amount, but just like, it'll be okay. If it's not perfect, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, at the end, again, you get what you need from it, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and ultimately that's all you can ask for. And I kind of felt the same way about just self-esteem or confidence. Like, you don't want to be overconfident, but then if I think too much, then you're thinking, well, what did that person think of when I did this or when I said that? And then just being content, like, I'm just living my life. I don't have to think so hard about all this, and can be liberating. And I like this question too. What's something that mattered a lot to you 10 years ago that no longer you think is that important? And then also vice versa. So you can start with, what's something 10 years ago that you were just all about that now you're like, that wasn't it?
Yeah. So let's see, 10 years ago, it was my second year of architecture school. And that, again, just like completely consumed my whole life, besides my 1 hour of dance break. But, just thinking like, I have to know all this. I have to want to start my own architecture firm someday. I have to want to move to a big city and design for these type of clients. Like, there's kind of that brainwashing process that happens of like, this is what you want to do. But I don't want to do that. Yeah. I mean, the firm I'm at now, it's, here locally in Northwest Arkansas. I absolutely love it. The projects that I'm working on, I get to see them here, like, build up the city right in front of our eyes, and it's incredible. I know a lot of my professors were shocked that I wasn't moving to New York or Los Angeles or something like that to work for one of these huge, glamorous firms, but like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I like it here.
Yeah, you should definitely submit some of that work too, because it'd be interesting to see like, oh, what have you done in the city? And then I can know too. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of like, Caity made that. And then on the flip side, what's something that just wasn't on your radar back then that now is the thing?
I think kind of homemaking, if that makes sense, like
Okay.
basic tasks like going grocery shopping and cooking meals and spending time with family, things like that are, again, they're more baseline. Like some people take them for granted, but I so much cherish time that I'm just, spending with my family, working on little projects. I'll spend hours in the kitchen. I love, love, love cooking. That's like another passion of mine.
Yeah.
That, I didn't pick that up until Rome too, actually. But yeah, just doing things like that every day, like getting excited about, okay, what do I get to do in my house today?
Wow.
So,
and then what's just a season in life that you would love to replay? A time where things were good. I mean, not that like, oh, things suck now. We've got to reminisce on the days, but just a time that was particularly awesome.
yeah, living in Rome, that's pretty hard to beat even now.
And how long was that?
It was 4 months.
All right.
Yeah. But that was the first time that I'd ever been, any distance away from my family. And I was living with my best friends and I got to walk, which I love walking. Anytime I go to a new city, the first thing I want to do is just park my car somewhere and just walk around it. But yeah, you get to walk everywhere again. You get to see this history, which you've studied in school, and the backstory, and you get to see it in person and how people interact with it in the modern time. Eat all the gelato and pasta you want. So but the travel, I think, was really, that's the first opportunity I had in my life to travel so much and gaining that independence of, okay, I can research flights or trains or whatever it is, and I can figure out how to get from here to here. And then once I get there, I can decide where I want to go, like what matters to me. Do I want to see the museums or do I want to, hike, or what is it that is important to me? And really figuring out how to manage all that on your own.
Yeah. All the walking around there, that's what we did the first 2 days, really, because even in 2 days, you're not going to see the whole city of Rome. But it's like you can just walk anywhere and you're like, oh, there's another cathedral and there's something else. And it's almost too much. And so that being a positive season of life, what would be a season of life that was not as good? And how did you find your way out of that, like, discouragement?
So the semester before Rome was definitely the darkest time in my life. Like I said, architecture school really has this notoriousness of like, you will be worn down. Like, it's just a matter of time. And that was the semester that it happened. Just massive depression, sleeping a maximum of 3 hours a day for the entire semester. I lost so much weight because I was like so anxious. I would throw up anytime I tried to eat. Like, it was just terrible. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why do that? It's school.
Yeah.
Like, today in my job, I use nothing that I learned from that semester. So it's not like, that's what you need in life, but just allowing myself to be consumed by that. Like, I wish I would have protected myself more and just, again, realizing, like, if I don't get a perfect score on this, it's okay. It's worth getting more sleep or eating more food or whatever it is. But that was definitely a tough semester. And that was the semester that I actually stopped dancing in college too, because again, it's like literally, besides those maybe 3 hours I was asleep, I was sitting at that desk in the studio building. And so that probably played a big role in it too, was, taking away my happy place. But I chose to do that to myself. Yeah. So I think as far as the coming out of it was the realizing, like, you never have to do that again. You have to understand in yourself what boundaries are and set those. And if a situation is not good for you, you don't need to be in it.
Yeah. Same with a lot of the medical side of schools, and because Alexa's we're both with nursing school,
Nursing school.
nursing school and medical school, it can just be almost overly intense, and you think, is this necessary? Like, I get that you need to be devoted to your craft, but it just, especially when you're in the health profession, it's extra ironic because it's like you're teaching people to take care of themselves by forcing them to not take care of themselves.
Yeah.
It's just so bizarre to me.
Yeah. And there's, this, again, that hoity-toity, like, I'm better than you. Attitude, like, oh, because you went to architecture school, you're better than any of these other students here. It's like, they're not.
Yeah.
They're dealing with their own stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and yes, architecture is important. Like, we are responsible for the health, safety, and welfare of the occupants of the building, right? Like, if we design something poorly and there's an emergency situation, that could mean lives lost. And, so obviously you want to take a lot of care into what you're doing. But again, I don't think that makes you a better person or anything. You're just a person.
Yeah. And you talked about not using stuff from that semester. And it makes me think of, I had this pre-cal class that I eventually failed out of, but because my first test, it was my first quiz, I got 0%, and I was trying. And then my first test, I got like a 19%, and I thought, this is not going to work. But the teacher always saying, "You just wait, one day you're gonna need this." And then, but hold on, sure enough, last year there was a big snowstorm, and I had a big box of old papers. And I used that math homework to start our little fireplace. And so I did use my math homework, and it was useful. It just took like 8 years or something, more than 8 years. But hey, it came in handy. Maybe you can dig yours out of the... I doubt you still have.
I burned it immediately.
I do not blame you.
We had my whole class had like a sacrificial bonfire at my parents' house.
That's so cathartic.
It was. We're like, wow, we spent months making this, and it's up in flames in 3 seconds.
Sometimes violence is the solution if it's against, non-living things.
Yes.
And what is one song that'll always get you out on the dance floor?
Oh, man, one single song.
I know
that doesn't work for me.
I know.
So I listen to a lot of music. I will say one thing that makes me excited is when I have a song that I love and then I hear a different version of that song. So if I can speak around that answer and just more general.
Yeah.
But so again, like sometimes bachata, but even with ballroom, like there would sometimes be a foxtrot or quick step remix of a song that I liked. So it's a song that you already are like to, and then it has, I can dance to this, like actually dance to this. And you get to combine whatever movements you would do, in the kitchen while you're doing dishes with all your years of training. Those are my favorite songs to dance to.
Ooh, that's a good answer. This is a little different, but I really like certain mashups. And there's one of, what's it called? Natasha Bedingfield,
the Pocket Full of Sunshine?
No, not Pocket Full of Sunshine. The Feels of Rain on Your Skin.
Yes.
There's a version of that and Disturbed's Down with the Sickness, and it actually goes together surprisingly well. And I just have to send it to you because it's the weird contrast of like, wait, Natasha Bedingfield,
exactly,
and all that kind of thing. Ooh, what's one of your proudest moments as an artist? I know people don't like to just brag on themselves and whatever, but just like a thing you were really like, I did a good job.
Yeah. So at the beginning of this year, we partnered with Crystal Bridges to host a social in the Great Hall. And we've done that a couple times in the past. But this one we had, I think it was almost 400 people attend, which again, yes, Northwest Arkansas is growing a lot. But, if you were to say Latin dance, Northwest Arkansas is not the first thing that would come to your mind, right? But seeing that we got that many people out, and it's not just all, dancers. Like, yes, we have our core community, but like I said, something that makes me excited every social, I meet these people I've never seen before. It's their first time out. So, having, whether it's, couples out on a date night or, single people just looking for new friends or they just moved to the area, they want to see what's happening. everybody has a story, and they all came to our event, and I got to hear some of their stories.
Yeah.
And so, just standing on the stage there in beautiful crystal bridges, which again, love that building. Like, definitely one of our gems here. But seeing that space filled with happy people dancing, and that many of them, I was like, okay,
a combination of your worlds.
This is pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely had something I was thinking in relation to that. You're talking about Crystal Bridges dancing. The fact that you're doing those dance events is so important, because a lot of people want to go out and dance, but not at 11 p.m. at a club, and because that'll just probably never happen for me and Alexis. And there's a shocking lack of dance events on a given night.
Like, even like I said, we picked things up when COVID had shut everything down. But before then, one of the regular spots was like a traditional bar club, And yes, the dancing was great, but it's like as soon as you step off the dance floor, you have the people that are there just to prowl or whatever. Like, they're there to get drunk and to just, whatever.
Yeah.
But you always get you're a good dancer. You want to give me a private lesson? It's like, no, dude, I'm just here to dance and have fun. Like, leave me alone. And you get the people who are spilling their drinks on you, and you get the really loud, obnoxious people. And so, but the great thing about our events is almost everyone there is there to dance. Or at least, they're there with their friends to have fun and be supportive. It's not like they come with this ulterior motive. So it definitely feels more like a big party instead of the club. And I'm sure you've had your fair share, but what's one of your awkward encounters with someone where you're just like, dude, being weird? I'll say, actually, recently I was in California for Christmas, and we went out dancing when we were in San Diego. And again, you would think San Diego, like, they should have a great dance scene. And I was disappointed because it really did feel more like the other type of environment. And there was, people always ask you, oh, I've never seen you before. Where are you from? Arkansas. Where is Arkansas?
Yeah.
It's right in the middle of the country. And with dancing, you set boundaries like anything, right? Like, you can say no, and that's okay. But some of the people there were not taking that well, because, like, you're dancing several songs in a row, you get tired, you just want to sit out. They come out, ask you want to dance? Maybe you don't like the song, maybe whatever. Like, you can say no. So it's like, oh, no, thank you. And the guy just gets all huffy and it's like, oh, it's probably just because you don't have any rhythm. I'm like, okay, sure, you can continue to think that. I'm not going to prove you wrong right now. But
yeah, we went to a swing dance event on Saturday, and for one, we ran at just the social aspect. We ran into one of our friends who was at our wedding that we haven't seen in probably 5 or 6 years, and he just graduated in physics and is working on the department. It was like, Muhammad, you're here. I had no idea you were coming. And he told us about all of his friend circle that we hadn't seen in a long time. And so I just really love the social element of it. But then there's also, we brought one of my wife's, my wife used to babysit this girl who's now like 19, and she comes in from out of state and stays with us from time to time just to hang out. And she came with us too. And there was this 40-year-old dude like hitting up on her, and you're like, dude, it's swing dancing, and you can tell like this is a young girl. Yeah. And you're just like, oh, this is a little weird. Yeah. Some people don't get the hint. Yep. And what is, this is another brag question. What's your favorite personality characteristic about yourself? I think if I were to ask most of my friends to describe me, they would say that I'm kind or sweet. And a lot of that does come naturally. But I think just having that ability to kind of see through someone, whether they're shy or they're uncomfortable or whatever it is, and just extending kindness to them to make them feel as comfortable as they can. So whatever the situation is, like, I always try to think, even if somebody's rude to you, you don't need to be rude back to them, because, it's not nice
to you, but you don't know what they're going through and if they're just lashing out for something else. So almost every day, just try to just be kind.
Yeah, it goes a long way, and people don't realize that it's the simple things.
Yeah.
And what's something you feel like people in general focus too much on, and then also too little on?
So kind of like we mentioned earlier, I think that overachiever ambition, like, yes, definitely set goals for yourself, but make them something reasonable and attainable and stretched out over enough time that you're not so stressed to get to that point. Because what's the point of reaching your ultimate happy goal if you're miserable the whole way? Like, so I think that's something people kind of focus too much on, is this is where I want to be, and until I'm there, I'm not happy. And something they don't focus enough on, I'd say, again, the little things in life. Like if you're not in a rush to get home, take a different way home. Go down a street you've never been before. If you're looking to, create dinner for your family, like try a recipe you've never tried before. I think trying new things and just kind of exploring, because you know what your likes and dislikes are, but what if there's something you've never tried and you don't know if you like or dislike it? So just having that like open-minded exploratory aspect in your everyday life, just looking at everything with wide eyes, like what's new and exciting today.
Yeah, one of my most vivid memories from high school was just sometimes 2 or 3 or 4 of my friends would drive down random country roads, and each person would get to play a song and then like pass off the phone and play another one.
Yeah.
Just listen to, share each other's music. And because I love hearing or just like people showing me their stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it's their movies that they like.
What are you interested in?
Like. Yeah. And getting to experience that together with them is super exciting to me, I think.
Yeah.
And wrapping up, what's just a practical challenge you'd like to give people to just help them be a more well-rounded and compassionate person in general?
I mean, definitely step outside of your comfort zone every once in a while. For me, it was going to dance practice that first time, because I've seen it in movies and I thought it was fun and great, but I'd never tried to dance. And you never know when that seed is going to be planted in something that just takes off for you.
Yeah.
So trying new things, keeping an open mind, being exploratory, because again, all of that will lead down a path that you would have never found.
Maybe step out of your comfort zone to a bachata beats event.
That's absolutely something you can do.
That is something you can do. I'll be sure to put links to everything, because they're really fun.
We always start the night out with a beginner lesson designed for people who've never danced before, because again, we want to create a welcoming atmosphere. If you walk in off the street, we can at least show you the basic steps, so when the music comes on, you're not like, I don't know what to do, I gotta get out of here. That's how Alexis is, and why it's so handy to have a lesson. Because we had a date night, and we were going to go to this place in Fayetteville that just sort of has open dancing. And like last minute, we were like, but Caity's teaching in Centerton. And even though it's 35 minutes away, we would rather go there and go to that and like have some guidance than go just stand there and be like, I have no idea what to do myself. So thanks for doing what you do. And which you also, I forgot to mention, but you helped choreograph this dance that Alexa and I did. I'll put a link to that as well, because it was really fun to just, it was for my birthday party. I just thought it'd be fun to do a dance with my wife that was kind of dramatic and fun. And so we did lots of garage practicing and outside of the garage practicing a few times and everywhere. And it's really valuable. Hire yourself just a personal dance instructor. And so just where do people find you? So we are on Instagram and Facebook, NWA Bachata Beats. And that's where we're going to post all of our class offerings and our social events and anything else that we have going on. Yep.
Perfect. And so this is Caity. She's a dancer, an artist, and thanks for coming to chat.
Thank you, Andrew.